everybody, this is Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington, and I come to you every Wednesday night with 3 new craft projects. Usually they're cards, sometimes there's something a little different, and I show you the ideas and then how I made them, and I'd love to have you join us. If you are new this week, welcome. I'm really glad to have you. I hope you enjoy what you're going to see tonight. I'm sure you will. And if you are a returning guest, thank you for coming back and joining us again. It's always fun as we start to build this little bit of community and get to know one another a little bit better. In the vein of getting to know one another, make sure that you are commenting in the comment section, whether you are watching a replay or watching this live, because your name will go into a drawing for a free prize that I'll award next week. So I'm just taking a minute here to let everybody find me. Let me check my computer. I want to make sure I can see your comments. When I mention commenting, that can be just, if all you want to do is stop and say hello, tell me where you're from, that's great. You can ask questions, give suggestions, you can talk with one another. Any of those things count toward your name being entered into the drawing. So let's see, let's get this opened up here. Let's see. As soon as I open it up, it freezes. I don't know why. It does that every now and then. Let's see. Oh, it's frozen. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Susan. Welcome. Bear with me as I'm just trying to get this feed going. Usually it freezes up on me the first time. Hey, Teresa. Welcome. You can see Lucy's running around, well, not running, but walking around behind me. My neighbors, my house is a duplex upstairs and downstairs, and my neighbors downstairs complained because the floors are hardwood and they can hear her walking around. They're not complaining about her jumping or barking or anything like that, but walking. Yeah, I can't help that. So let's see. I don't know why this keeps freezing and it's driving me crazy. See, it did it again. Why is it doing this to me? Let's see. Okay, computers, I tell you. That's the thing. We're so accustomed to them and used to them, and then when they start acting weird, we don't know what to do with them. Let's see here. Lucy. It's freezing again. Can somebody comment? Let me know if it's frozen on your end. I don't know why it's freezing on mine. Let's see. I'm kind of trying to play with it a little bit to see if I can figure that out. So, hang on just a second. I'm sorry. Lucy, no. No. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm getting all my stuff set up to make this kind of a stamping area. You can see all Lucy's toys in the background. But my stamping area, and I have a dresser out here that I have some stuff in, and Lucy's chewing on it. You've gotta love the chewing phase, right? Okay, good. I'm not freezing now, so it seems like it's working. So a few of you, well, many of you will know that I was supposed to have shoulder surgery last August, and then I had a weird reading on an EKG, so the anesthesiologist said it had to get cardiological approval, and the cardiologist said, yeah, I don't like this, so we need to follow up. So then I had to follow up with a heart monitor, and then after that I had to do an EKG, and then they decided, well, the EKG looks good, but to be sure, let's get an echocardiogram. And, so more and more time is passing as this goes on, right? I finally got cleared for surgery last week, and my surgery is now scheduled for December 1st. So I'm glad we'll be able to get that out of the way before the year ends, and the new insurance year starts and all of that. So that's good. We're getting settled into our new place. You can see boxes behind me, but every night I try to just unpack a couple boxes, and I'm not in any super huge rush, but I don't want to live out of boxes forever either. But we are getting settled in, and I do like it. The commute, I used to be 10 minutes away from work, and now I'm like 25. So that's taking some getting used to, but you do what you got to do, right? So anyway, I think that might be all I've got to tell you about going on in my exciting little world. So I'm going to turn this around. I want to tell you about a special that's going on right now, and it's going on through Friday. Yes, Friday. A special that's going on through Friday. I want to make sure you know about it so you can take advantage of it. And then we're going to get going on the cards that I've made this week. So remember, comment. Make sure you ask any questions you have. I love it when we get the conversation going. It just makes it fun. You know, this is my social hour. So give me a second and I'll turn this all around. Okay, get the camera adjusted where it needs to be. There we go. Hey, Shelly, welcome. Okay, so the special, the sale that's going on is our seasonal sale. You guys, this is such a great special, such a great sale going on. Hang on, I'm trying to get everything straightened up here. Okay, now I made it crooked, right? Let's see. Anyway, great sale going on. Like almost everything is on sale to some degree. So let's see. All punches in the annual catalog. Now, everything that I'm about to say, when I keep saying all of these things, I mean all of them in the annual catalog. So if they're in our mini catalog, it doesn't apply. And it has to be something you can purchase. So for example, it doesn't apply toward the host sets, the host gifts, those kind of things, the Stampin' Up, I guess they're called Stampin' Rewards. Hang on, Lucy wants out. Okay, you go outside and you can bother all the other dogs. There you go. Okay, so anyway, punches in the annual catalog are all 10% off. All stamps, except for host stamps, all stamps are 15% off. All dies are 20% off. All embossing folders are 20% off. And all non-specialty designer series paper is 20% off. Now, if you're not familiar with our designer series paper, to know what makes it specialty. Specialty papers are ones like they've got the metallic flecks in them, or they're just kind of shown separately in the catalog. They're generally, you can tell they're a little bit, by the fact that they're a little bit more expensive. There's something more to them. But all of our basic designer series paper is 20% off. So just about everything in the catalog is on sale in one capacity or another right now. This sale goes through Friday. It ends at midnight Mountain Time on Friday night. So definitely take advantage of this now. It's a great way to get some holiday gifts if you've got a stamper in your life that you would want to buy some gifts for. Another idea, if you are interested in getting them a gift certificate or a gift card, contact me separately. That's not something you can buy on my online store, but I am happy to work with you directly to get you a gift certificate or gift card that you can give to somebody that they can turn around and then use through me. And of course, if you want to treat yourself, you want to take advantage of this special as well. So don't forget, the seasonal sale ends on Friday. Okay, so our first card that we have going on, I want to show you. This one is kind of fun. It uses the Blessings of Home stamp set. And then it also uses the Artistic Mix masks. And, you know, you've seen me use these masks a few times with my blending brushes to color in and make a design. And I don't know if I welcomed Marcia. I just noticed Marcia's online. Welcome, Marcia. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so anyway, I've used these masks before with blending brushes. But tonight, I'm going to show you how to use our embossing paste. It's just this white paste. You'll see later I've got a plastic bag in here to keep it from drying out. But it's super duper easy to do. I'm going to show you how. And here's the card we're going to make. I used the paste and the folder on the envelope and then again on the card. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. So let's go ahead and let's see, the inside of this card looks like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take these out. Now tonight, when I show you how to use the embossing paste, I'm actually only going to do the envelope. I went ahead and did the card front separately and ahead of time because it does take about 20 minutes or so for the paste to dry before you want to start laying stuff on it. So I wanted to have this ready to show you guys. So got all my little bits and pieces and parts. So now what I'm going to do is get my masking folder. And this kit, this particular pack comes with these 4 and then these cutouts where they're like for labels or whatever, but then it also comes with the pieces that punch out here if you want to trace around them or do something else with them. And so this is the folder or the mask I'm going to use. And let me show you what I'm going to do. So first, I'm going to take my scrap paper and I'm just putting the envelope over it. Just like that, okay? And, excuse me, I'm just putting a little tiny bit of adhesive there because I want it to stay in place. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of tape and I'm just laying it over my envelope flap like this. And you don't have to tape these down, but I do recommend it because it makes sure it stays in place and stuff doesn't get all wiggly underneath there. You know what? I just realized I forgot to announce the winner from last week's video for our drawing. Just a reminder that the way that you get into the drawing is by participating in the conversation, just saying hello, like some of you have, talking to one another, asking questions, and even if you're watching the replay, if you leave a comment, then your name will go into the drawing, which I will do right before I go live next week. So in next week's video, I will announce the winner from this week. And this week's winner is Nell De Silva. And Nell is winning a pack of this ribbon that we had for a little while, and it's in our Misty Moonlight color, but it's so beautiful with so many of the colors that we still have. And it's 1/8 inch grosgrain ribbon. And I love this stuff. I really wish they had come out with more of it because it was so easy to work with and it's so fun. But anyway, Nell, congratulations. You are our winner this week, and I do have your address. In fact, I think I still have a prize that I need to get mailed out to you. As I mentioned last week, prizes kind of got packed up in the move and I have to find them again. So I do have some prizes going out. And Nell, I think you are one of them. So I do have your address. Okay, so anyway, here is how it works to use the embossing paste with one of your masks. So you've prepped everything, you've gotten it ready. Then I use my silicone mat for this. And figure out where I want to put this. I guess it doesn't matter if I do it right there. And once you open your paste, you can see how I've put a plastic bag, not a plastic bag, but a piece of saran wrap over it, and I've kind of pushed it down onto the paste inside so that there really can't get any air trapped in there because this will dry out if you don't do that. So what I'm going to do is open it up, and then when you buy your paste, you also want to buy the spatulas, and you get a set. I think it comes with a set of 2 or 3, I think. Let's see what I've got here. Yeah, I guess it's 3. These are the 3 spatulas it comes with. And I haven't done anything much where I need any kind of a specialty spatula. So I just, whichever one I happen to grab. Now, what you can do is you take this, and I'm going to show you how you put it on, but I wanted to point out, you can do it white like this, and it looks kind of like spackle. It's really cool. But I wanted to do try something a little bit different, and I'm going to show you what I did. So you can see I'm pushing that back in, put my little plastic in there. And a little does go quite a ways, so you don't need a ton of it. I have one of my ink refills. This is Balmy Blue. Now the funny thing is I just used a little bit, and because I just used a little bit, it ended up looking more like our pool party. So I ended up putting it on pool party cardstock. So all I did is I added 1 drop. It does not take a whole lot. Now I think if I had added more, oops, I did add a little bit more this time. If I had added more, it probably would have turned out more of a true blue, more like our Balmy Blue, but because I just did a little bit, then It was so light. You can see how it's just, I'm just going like this, mixing it up. Kind of like if you ever do any baking and you make frosting and you color it, exact same idea. This is a little bluer this time, so I think I might add a little bit more white to it just to lighten it up a little tiny bit. So we'll pull the plastic back up, kind of get some of that cleared off so I don't get blue in the paste. Okay. And I just kind of stir it up like this, mix it up. I'm seeing that it looks very blue in the video, a lot bluer than it actually is. It's kind of funny. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do, and this was something that I already knew you could add the ink to make the different colors, but the new thing I tried that I kind of thought, oh, let's give this a whirl and see how it works. So I got out my Wink of Stella pen. And then, you know, when you use your Wink of Stella pen, you know that if you, I should have shaken it. Let me shake it first. You always want to shake it first, just kind of get it going. Wake it up a little bit. Let's scrape some of this together. Okay. Now, when you squeeze it to kind of get it going, some pours out like that. And I did that because I wanted to see if it would make my paste sparkly like Wink of Stella, and it does. And I know you can't see it on the card very well in the video, but in real life you can. I know Wink of Stella is kind of hard to see on camera, and then especially once it's in this paste, but I have made the paste, it's really sparkly now. And that's another thing that kind of altered the color a little bit because it's gray, you know, it's silver. And so it did kind of change the color a little bit as well. So I've got it all mixed up. I've got my Wink of Stella mixed in there. And now to apply it, all you need to do is you get your paste and put it on there, and you just rub it on, just like that. Make sure you're getting the whole thing. Now, one thing that you do want to know about this is really important. You want to be able to wash off your tools, your mask, your silicone mat right away after you use it. So like tonight, for example, obviously I can't do that because I'm in the middle of this live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little bit of, I had intended to put a little bit of water in some plastic trays and then just let them soak in the plastic trays while I did my video, and I forgot to get those ready. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water in my sink and then let them soak in the sink until I'm done. But see how I'm putting it on there and then I'm kind of scraping it off because I want to scrape off the excess, okay? See, I end up with a lot left over, and I really was able to do both my card front and my envelope with the bit that I had done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully peel this off. There we go. Now give me just a second because I want to go put this in the sink. Hang on. I got over there and I realized that my sink doesn't have a stopper, so I did end up having to get a tray out. Okay, so there's our envelope. And what you want to do now is you want to set it aside because, like I said, it takes about 20 minutes for that to dry. And what I forgot to mention, I wonder if you can see this. It is, what it does, you can't really see it because it's so thin, but it adds texture to your card. I mean, you can feel that design on there, which I think is very, very cool. So anyway, I'm going to set that aside so that I don't, bump into it or smack it up. And I'm going to get this out of the way because this is still wet. If I make cards on top of it, this stuff's going to get all over the back of my card. So I'll get that out of the way. I should have laid something over it so that I didn't waste a whole piece of the paper, but that's okay. All right, so now that's how I ended up with this for my card front, but let's go ahead and make our card now that you know how to do the embossing part of it. So I'm using Sahara Sand. It's standard card front, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and fold that. Uh-oh, someone's got the zoomies, it looks like. Hey, Luce. Are you trying to say hi to everybody? See, you can see her there. She's trying to help. Okay. And she's not as much help as she might think she is. Okay, so now I have an extra piece here that I had intended to use to show you guys how to do that before I got the great idea that it would be better to do the embossing paste ahead of time. So now I'm going to stamp the inside of my card, and I'm going to stamp this piece here is just a scrap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this big, beautiful stamp, and we're going to ink it up. On big stamps like this, I prefer to kind of ink it upside down like this. It's just easier to have control over the stamp and the ink and making sure that you're getting ink everywhere. Sorry about the shaking there. And now I'm going to kind of line this up to make sure that I get it on everything, or get it completely on the paper. There we go, there's one. And then I'm going to do it again, but I just want to do it kind of in the corner of the card. For the inside. So we'll put it right about there, like that. Clean that off, Lucy. Lucy. Oh, she's going to try to be a little troublemaker tonight again during this video. Oh, yeah, Teresa, you might love it, but I don't. Her latest thing, she's loving all the cardboard boxes from moving. So whenever she sees a cardboard box, she thinks she gets to eat it. So I have boxes of catalogs that I'd really, really rather she not eat. Okay, and then my sentiment for the inside of the card is this, what a beautiful day for love. But I just wanted to say what a beautiful day. So I'm going to take a little bit of my Post-it tape, and I'm covering up that for love. Because to me, that seems like a Valentine's Day sentiment or a wedding sentiment. And I just wanted to be able to use this card for, whatever. Maybe birthday or whatever. So I've covered that up. Remember to take that off. And we're going to stamp it right here. There we go. And clean it off. Throw that away before I stick my hand in it. Okay. Now, the next step here, I have a clean, or one of our acrylic blocks without a stamp on it. And I have my Sahara Sand ink, and I have my, oh, that's funny, I grabbed the Mint Macaron ink, but I don't think I meant to grab the Mint Macaron ink. Hang on here. we go. That's better. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put ink on my block. Just like so. And then I'm taking my blender pen and I just get a little ink on there. I scribble it a little first just so that it's not quite so much ink. And I'm just coloring. I want to make sure I'm in the frame here. But I'm just coloring where all the shading marks are that Stampin' Up! Has already provided for me. So I don't have to be an artist and know how to shade stuff, which is good because I'm not an artist and I don't know how to shade stuff. And I'm just doing this on the flower. I'm not even touching the leaves. I'm kind of just leaving them as is. Okay, there's some flowers over here off to this edge. There we go. And then now I want to color this one too. So let's get that part done. This probably is the most time consuming part of the card. But it's not too bad. I mean, it goes by fairly quickly. And you know, I don't worry about being super precise. I mean, I'm trying to just get those areas that Stampin' Up! Has indicated the shading, but I'm not really worried about it being super precise. I might have to get a little more ink here on my block. Okay. John says he's not much of an artist either. That's, you know, John, that's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up! And you may find this as well, since you say you're not an artist either. I love that they really knock it out of the park when it comes to doing the art for us. You know, we get such beautiful images and, you know, some of our stamps are so lifelike that we can really work with them and produce some really beautiful things without having to really have that skill honed ourselves. Okay, so I've got the inside of my flower done there, and now I'm scribbling just to get that green off of my pen. And now what I'm gonna do is clean off my block. And now I'm going to do a little bit of the Sahara sand on the inside of my flowers. So again, I'm just getting ink on my block there. And then just kind of a little bit of color. And, you know, as time passes, it'll start to absorb into the paper just a little bit more. And so it really blends together so nicely. See, so that one is done. Get the insides of the flowers on this piece over here. Again, no super precision, just scribbling a little bit of color on there is really what I'm doing. Okay. clean off my pen so it's clean for the next color that I use, whenever that is. Okay, clean up my ink pads. Okay. And now we're ready to start piecing the card together. Oh, I lied. We're not quite ready. Now what we want to do is we're going to use the embossing and cutting machine to cut that out. So let's grab the machine. Okay. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see this because I just can't get quite far enough away. My dies, did I put, oh, there they are. So I'm also using the Flowers of Home dies. They go with the Blessings of Home stamps. So it's a bundle that you can get. And remember, this week, these are on sale. And so again, let me get my little piece of paper, my cheat sheet. The stamps are going to be 15% off and the dies are 20% off. So if you were to buy the two, that's an even bigger savings than you would normally get when you buy a bundle. Hey, Kathy, I just welcomed, or I just noticed you're on here. Welcome. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the die. I just set them back down. Okay, so this is the die. I'm using the big one. And I'm going to place it on here, get it lined up the way I want it. This one is kind of funny to line up. Oh my gosh, my dog is, I don't know what she's getting into. But I might have to go and save my couch. Hold that thought, please. Lucy? No. No. Come on, let's go bed. Walk in your bed. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. I just put her in her bed. We'll see how that goes. She's going to start barking at me. Okay, so anyway, we'll feed this through. Sorry for the wiggling, guys. Okay, let's put the machine back. And I just used my Post-it tape to hold this die in place because I didn't want it to wiggle around. I wanted to make sure that once I got it lined up, it stayed the way I wanted it to. And this tape, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell it, but I just buy mine on Amazon. And it's reusable, so I'll get several uses out of this before I have to throw these pieces away. Okay. So put my die away so that I don't lose it. And so now we have our beautiful little flower. Let's piece our card together. I have a little bit of ribbon here. And what I did with this is I'm just going to wrap it around the card and tape it on the back. I'm not even tying a bow. And let's see. Trying to figure out where, oh, there it is, my Terran tape. I just use Terran tape to tape it to the back. I've got it handy and it's easy to use. So I want to make sure my ribbon is right about the middle of the piece. Let's make sure it's straight before I tape it down. Okay, so see, it's just simple wrap around like that, nothing super fancy. Let's go ahead and glue these pieces together now using my Stampin' Seal, or actually Seal Plus is what it's called. There's regular Seal and there's Seal Plus. I prefer the Seal Plus, it's just a little heavier duty. Okay, now I have a Pool Party piece of cardstock just to give me a very thin little mat around that white. Just gives it that little pop of color on our Sahara Sand card front. Oh, Lucy, you are just fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that ribbon is a little crooked. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I have all these little pieces of greenery that I also die cut from the same set of dies, and lay them out here so that I've got them. And I'm just going to kind of glue them to the back side of my flower. It just gives a little bit of extra dimension on my card. So let's see, here's his first one. I think a better way to do this would be to use my take your pick tool because these are so fine that I might rip them, I think. So I want to be careful of that. Trying to figure out which way the flowers go. Thing is, these flowers can kind of go either direction, I think. I think I'm going to go this way, though. Okay, so I've got one going right there. And then let's put the next little, I think I'm going to try to just copy what I did on the other card because I like how it turned out. Sometimes it's just a matter of trial and error, and you put pieces down and see if you like them, and if you don't, you move them. So get these pieces on. Sorry about all the crying in the background. Okay, now for this one, let's put it right about there. I love little glue dots. They just make it so easy to stick things in random places, which as I say that out loud, I realize how bad that sounds. Let's see, put that right, how about there, like that. And then I've got my last one. Remember the eye, for some reason, I don't know the science behind this, so I don't know why, but the eye likes odd numbers. So you can see I've chosen to put 5 little sprigs of greenery on here so that I've got my odd numbers like that. And now what I'm going to do is put it here on my card. Now, excuse me, I definitely want to make sure that it's all going to fit on the card and not go off the edges. Like if I were to just go flat like this, well, it still would kind of fit, I guess. But I'm going to do it at a little bit of an angle here. I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. So let's see. The dimensionals will also help to hold those little pieces of greenery in place. It's really funny. My neighbor downstairs has 2 daughters that are both like teenage, you know, the squealy age. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's really cute, actually. But anyway, the other day they were taking their dog out in the front yard, and these girls had not seen Lucy yet. They knew I had her because I had talked to one of them one day. And so they knew I had her, but they hadn't actually gotten to meet her yet. And yes, I'm putting about 1,000 of these on here. So anyway, they were out front with their dog, and our couch looks right up to the window, it's right up against the window. So Lucy was up on the couch looking out the window, and these girls saw her. And I could tell they saw her because I heard them start to squeal, and they were so excited. So of course, you know, they start kind of talking to her through the window, you know, and it's not like they were right up against the window or anything like that, but, you know, talking in her direction toward her, and, oh puppy. And of course, Lucy was getting so excited with her little butt wiggling. She is a butt wiggler. She gets excited and her little butt goes 90 miles an hour. Not just her tail, her butt. So anyway, now every time she hears the girls outside with their dog, she runs up on the couch so that she can try to get some attention from them. It's the funniest thing. Okay, So now we've got this, and just kind of center it on your card vertically and horizontally. Because remember, your sentiment's on the inside, so you don't have to leave room for your sentiment. And there we go. There's the front of the card. Let's put forgot to glue in the inside. So we'll just glue this in here. There we go, card number 1 with our envelope. And like I said, it's textured, which is kind of fun. I really like that. Now, I will honestly say I have never mailed out a card yet with this on here, so I don't know how it holds up if the envelope gets wet. And of course, this time of year, there's a good chance that it might. So I'm not how the envelope holds up, but how the paste holds up if it gets wet. So I don't really know that much on it yet. But if you do have that experience, I would love to hear your feedback and tell me how it held up, so that I know for future reference and I can be sure to tell people as well. So anyway, there is the card. I love this card. I was really tickled with how it turned out. So let's clean up this mess a little bit, and then we'll get going on card number 2. Thanks, Teresa. I really liked the colors of this too. They're nice and soft, and I just like the way they came together. Okay, next in line, we have, let's see here. This set uses the Eden's Garden bundle, which is the Eden's Garden stamps and the Eden dies. And then I also used the artistic dies because I wanted to use that big flower right there. So let me show you the card. This one is super easy to do. Get these pulled up just a little bit. They got flattened because they're sticky. Okay, there we go. What do you think? I really like this one. I found this one on Pinterest, something similar to this, and I really liked the idea. And the sentiment on it is, my heart is tied to yours, tug if you need anything. So let's go ahead and get started on our card. Start with our envelope. And for this, I'm just putting a strip of the Designer Series paper on the envelope flap. So let's see, there's my liquid glue. I'm getting dangerously close to this one being empty. Okay. You're okay, Miss Lucy. I know she thinks I'm trying to have fun without her. And I guess, actually that is kind of true. Okay, so now this paper is our Texture Chic Designer Series paper. It is also on sale. It is included in the sale for 20% off, I think I said. And this strip is just 2.5 inches wide by 6 inches long. And I just glue it on there, and then I trim off the extra. Can you guys believe that Thanksgiving is just a couple weeks away? It's like, where has this year gone? Lucy, honey, you are just fine. Okay, so got our envelope done. Throw away these little pieces here. Now, for my card base, what I did is I took, just the standard card base, which was 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. And then I cut 1/2 inch off of one end. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sheet of, this is from our adhesive sheets. This is the pack you get. It's 12 inches by 6 inches. And so a pack lasts me forever because you never use a full sheet of it, obviously. You cut it down and just use small bits of it. In fact, this is probably the biggest section I've ever used. I rarely will use a section this big. And actually, it looks like when I cut it, I got my dimensions wrong a little bit because I wanted it to cover the whole thing. So I'll show you how I'm going to get around that. What I'm going to do is take these strips here. You just peel it off and you line it up on your card or on your paper. I forgot to fold this and crease it, which when I made my sample card, I waited to do this step, and in hindsight after doing it, decided that it probably would have been a little better if I'd done this ahead of time. So this time around, that's what I'm doing. So I'm just lining it up there and cut off the extra. And I'm going to do it along the bottom here because that's where I know that it was not quite the right size. So now I'm going to lay down this piece just right under the last one. Trim this off. It's pretty sticky. And again, just putting it down here because I know my piece is going to be a little too short. Okay, let's see. It looks like I'm going to overlap these little pieces I put down here. So what you want to do first is take your bone folder and go over it to make sure it's in there really well. And now I'm going to pull off that release tape just so that I can lay down the second piece. Because like I said, it's going to overlap a little. So I want to get that release tape off so that it's not a problem. There we go. Now, lay that one down. Trim off the extra there. Got a little bit that I want to get on that corner there. And now you do want to be careful because we're going to put this through the die machine and that's going to be sticky there. So let's see, what can we, you know what I can do? I could just go like that. Look at that. That's going to magically work. That'll be just fine because it'll just cover up that. I don't want it to stick to the die cut plate. Okay. Now I'm going to get my die cutting machine again. Hang on. Okay. Gonna move some stuff out of the way here. Okay. Oops. Okay. Let's trim this a little bit. There. Now it'll all fit and we don't have a problem. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take that die. Oh, I saw the release tape stuck to my finger. Taking the die. I put it so that the adhesive side is down. And now I'm going to line this up just to make sure that the whole thing is on the card. And I found from my original that I did want to move this up just a little bit. And it looks like it's on there where I want it, so I'm going to go ahead and reuse my Post-it tape to hold it in place. And because because of the adhesive and the backing on the adhesive, you're now going through a couple more layers of stuff. So I do recommend feeding this through 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it really cuts it through all the way. So I just go forward and back, pull it back out this way, and it's probably ready. Okay. So move my card over here, move my machine out of the way. And now I'm going to take this off. And I've got my Post-it tape that I can reuse later. See, so there's the front of my card. Let's go ahead and I'm going to fold it right now just to make sure we have a really nice crease. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down this way to go over it with my bone folder so that my bone folder didn't get caught in these little pieces that were sticking up. Now I have a piece of my designer series paper and I'm just going to put it right here on the inside. We're going to take all that release tape off. Oops. There we go. Let's take these little strips off. Use your take your pick tool. Sometimes it's hard to get under the little edges, which is why I use my take your pick tool. I swear less when I do that. Okay. Now there's some little tiny pieces just because of the way the die cut it. So I'm peeling it off here. And we've just got one more section here. Now this whole back is sticky like a sticker. Line this back up again. And now I'm going to go ahead and close my card right onto that designer series paper, just like that. And then I'm going to take a strip. This is like 1/8 of an inch or 6. Yeah, it's 1/8 of an inch that I am going to glue right here just because I liked that it gave it just a little bit of color, brought that pink out. So let's go ahead and glue that on. A little bit of glue. I'm going to do this on my, I was going to say I was going to do it on my silicone mat, but my silicone mat is soaking. Okay. There we go. There. Thanksgiving is next week? I just saw Susan's comment. It's next week already? My goodness. I have totally lost track of time. And then I did get a little bit of glue on the front there. So I'm just taking my handy dandy glue eraser that I got on Amazon. It's just called an adhesive eraser. They're a couple bucks. And I got some sort of dirt goo or something there. My adhesive eraser also works for that. Okay, so we've got this much so far. Now the next part is, this is kind of my least favorite part. We have the flower itself. And there's a lot of little tiny pieces here that have to come out, and that can be kind of time consuming, which is why it's not my favorite part, but that's okay. Now with the adhesive paper, it actually pulls a lot of those little pieces off for you as you're peeling it off. So that does take care of some of it. Let's see where I can get another. Now I've still got a lot of little pieces here that just got to pop out. Just like so. Next week, wow. Clearly I'm not hosting it at my house, or I would be very well aware of the fact that it's next week. Okay, got another big piece here to pull off that took out some of those little dams. Those are called dams, by the way, the little pieces inside. I love this die, but this is the one thing I do not like about this particular one. It's all these little tiny pieces. Okay. There we go. I think I got them all except for that guy right there. Oops, there's a couple in that leaf. You always want to double check it because I guarantee there will be at least one of those little boogers hiding in there. Then I'll take my take your pick tool to push the rest of these through and loosen them up a little bit. There we go. I think I got them all off. Of course, they're all stuck to me now. Okay, now what we're going to do is these little pieces that stick up kind of like this, I am just kind of sticking them up a little. Like so. Now what you can do, oops, see there's extra ones in there. I told you there's always extras that you think you got. Is put a little flour on your fingers, or cornmeal, not cornmeal because it's gritty, but corn flour and or baby powder. And what it does is it makes it so the sticky's not sticky anymore. And you don't want to do that to the whole thing, but on these edges that I'm pulling up like this, if you do that, they'll stick up on your card instead of laying flat. Okay, so now you just want to line it up again, and you're going to put it right back in the negative space that it came out of. Just like that. Make sure you rub it in there nice, because there's something about this adhesive that you really have to push it down to make it stick well. And it will stick well and it'll stay, but you've got to really let it know that's what you want from it. Now what I could do is I could open this up and kind of take my bone folder and just go over the back like this. That's going to make those edges go down and stick that I just tried to make stick up. So then all you have to do is just lift them back up. And I didn't do that to any of the flower pieces, just the leaves and the little foliage sticky outy things. So there we go. There's that part. Let's get rid of some of this garbage. Hang on. It's easier to work when we don't have 1,000 little tiny pieces of garbage in our workspace. And having a bunch of little garbage pieces in your workspace is how you lose the little pieces that you actually need. Ask me how I know that. Okay, so now we've got the front of our card almost done. There's a couple things we still want to do. So I have this little banner that I cut. This came from the Eden stamps, or I'm sorry, the Eden dies. And what I'm going to do is I'm taking my mint macaron ink and I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which is my heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything. But you can see this is all one stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Post-it tape again. I'm going to cover up the bottom part because I want to have half of this on the outside of my card and half on the inside. So ink that up. Make sure you remember to take that off. And I'm going to just try to line this up and hope it's straight. I think it's crooked. It's kind of off center there, but that's all right. That's okay. Now, I'm going to wait to do the inside because there's a couple pieces I want to put on the inside, and I want to kind of make sure to line things up. So let's go ahead and take some dimensionals now, and we're going to go ahead and put our banner on there. Remember, the outer edge of your dimensionals is a dimensional as well. So, you know, waste not, want not, right? And you can just stick it right there. Just like that. And I'm going to cut, or I'm going to pull the back off. Oh, the neighbor girls are outside, and I know they're going to be looking for Lucy, and she's trapped in her bed. Okay. And I just want to line this up so it's centered on the front of my card. Maybe pull this up just a little bit. Gosh, lots of barking going on tonight. Okay, so there we go with that. That's kind of crooked. Let's see if we can lift that up. There we go. My son just came home, but he came in the front door, which he does not usually do, so that kind of surprised me. Okay, let's see there. I'm still trying to line that up because it's still kind of wonky. There we go. Okay, and then what I did is I took a few of these little, they're festive dots or something like that. I can't quite remember what they're called because what they're called in the catalog is not what they're called on my package. My package says red and green adhesive backed pearls, but you can see there's more than red and green, and there's not even really green, it's blue. So I think they're called festive pearls or festive dots or something like that. We're going to use a bunch of the gold ones. And just kind of put them like that. Okay. Are you going to be home for a while?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, she just was being obnoxious, so, okay, so anyway, there we go. So there's that part, got our little gold dots on there, just gives it a little something extra. Let's do the inside really quickly. So for the inside, I have a small strip, either side. I want it, you can have it so that it matches the front of your card, which is this side of the paper, or the inside, have it match the inside. I wanted it to match the inside just so that it looks uniform all the way across. So let's put a little glue on there. Glue's not coming out. There we go. Just got to show it who's boss. So I'm putting it right on the edge there, all the way up to the edge. And I like to use the liquid glue because it does allow me to slide it around a little bit to make sure I get it exactly where I want it before it dries. And then I have another one of the really skinny little pink ones that I'm going to butt right up against that. Just a little bit of glue. There we go. And use my glue eraser to get rid of some of those little glue boogers that I've got there on my card. Okay, and now I'm just going to trim off the extra here. There we go. And now we'll stamp our sentiment on the inside. So again, I'm going to cover up half of the sentiment because I only want the second half. Like so. And I've got my ink here. I'm going to kind of center it there. There we go. My H kind of got yucky there, but I also got a little fleck of ink right there. I'll use my sand eraser to get rid of that. I guess that's not an H, that's a T. I was thinking it says hug, but it says tug. Got little bits not coming off real well. Sorry about the shaking, guys. I promise I'm not having an earthquake. Now what I might do here, is I do have a little marker. I wonder how close in color this is going to be. Oh yeah, not at all, but oh well. Okay, so there is card number 2. And you just, like I said, get a little flour or cornmeal or something like that so that you can stick up, get these little edges to stick up and not worry about them getting stuck back down when the card gets flattened, you know, in the envelope. So there's card number 2. Let's go ahead and put away some stuff. We'll get going on card number 3. Card number 3 is pretty quick and easy. Okay, you guys ready for card number 3? Thanks, Susan. Hey, Marcia, welcome. Okay. Now this last card, I used Christmas to Remember stamps for my sentiment, and then I used the Stampin' the embossing folder painted texture. And I'll show you what I did. I'm really tickled with this one. I love how it turned out. And I also used the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, which is important because the DSP is really the most prominent feature of this card. So I've got my little envelope, and here's the card, and I made a little Christmas tree. It's easy peasy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my little white dots here, but I wanted red, and so I have my, this is actually the dark cherry cobbler Stampin' Blend, and I'm just coloring my dots. I typically like to do a couple of coats to get a nice dark color, but you want to give it a moment to dry. They're alcohol markers, so they do dry pretty quickly, but give it a moment to dry before you go in to do the next color, or else you end up just pushing the ink around. Okay. So now I'll go over it one more time, just to give it another little coat of color. There we go. And now I'm going to set these aside so that they will dry while we're making the card. Let's start with our envelope. And this is another one where I chose to just glue on a piece of our Designer Series paper. you know, I'm going to have to bite the bullet here anytime now and just give in and open a new glue bottle. But it's like every time I say that, then it gives me a whole bunch of glue, and it gives me false hope that I'm like, oh, okay, we're not ready for a new one yet. Okay. So I'll stick that on there, line it up with the top. I think I got pretty thick glue around the edge there. So now I've got gluey fingers. This Painted Christmas DSP is really pretty. It's got a few prints in it that I'm not super wild about. But you know what? Typically I have found with our designer series paper that when there is a print I don't like, I like the other side of the paper anyway. So then I don't have to, you know, decide between the two anyway, which one I like better, which one am I going to use? Because of course, you know, when you use one side, you're making it so you can't use the other side. So it's never really been a problem when there's been a print that I didn't really care for, because like I said, I liked the other side and just used that side instead. Okay, get rid of these little scraps. There's my envelope. It's kind of warped because I did get a little bit extra glue on there. Now what I'm going to do is I have this piece, I already ran it through the embossing machine. And we're going to mount this onto a piece of Real Red. Now, yes, this is Real Red, and I used the Cherry Cobbler marker. And the reason for that is because when I used the Real Red marker on my glued or on my matte dots, it looked a lot more like a orangey red, and I wanted more of a darker red because that's the way the Real Red looks on the cardstock, and it's the way that my designer series paper looked. So I found that using the Cherry Cobbler marker actually was just a better fit with the Real Red cardstock. Okay, I'm gonna just glue this on here. Give myself a nice little tiny mat. Okay, now I'm curious why my son came in the front door. All of a sudden it occurred to me, because the reason we usually come through the back is because that's where the garage is. Okay, now I have all these little strips that I made. Uh-oh, I'm missing my strip for my tree. That's an easy one to fix though. Okay, so I have all these little strips. Let's do the inside of the card first. So for this, what I did is I have a strip of crumb cake that's going to go right here, and then I have a strip of the designer series paper that's going to go over it. So we're going to go right along the bottom like that. So let's get some glue on there. Oops. Just line it up. Again, this is another time where it's nice to use the liquid glue because I can kind of wiggle it to make sure that it's even, that it's centered, you know, that it's right where I want it to be. Put some on the back now. And just line it up along the bottom here. I did want to leave a little bit of white at the bottom of it. I think it just makes it pop a little bit more. And then I have my sentiment, which is Friends Like You Make This Season Special. And I have my Real Red ink. We're going to line it up here, right about there. Okay, put my ink away before I do something dangerous with it. And my card, oh, I forgot to fold my card base. And this is our crumb cake cardstock. I love the crumb cake cardstock. It's such a nice neutral, and it's got little flecks in it, kind of like cardboard does. So it just, I just like it. It's not just flat, you know. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this on the inside of our card. Okay, and then what we're going to do is, oh, I need to get a little strip of the early espresso. It's too wide. Yeah, that's a little too wide. There we go. There we go. Much better. So now I have my tree trunk, and I'm just going to glue it down, kind of down the center of the card. Okay, that's it. That's it. I'm getting a new glue bottle. Okay, so let's get a little bit of glue on here. And like I said, right about the center, and try to make sure it's straight. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I've got my pieces that go on that make up my tree. Okay, so I'm just going to lay them out in the order that I want to put them on my tree. Just like that. So now I'll just start gluing these guys down. Now you could make them straight if you want. I, however, do not have a knack for getting things straight. So if you are like me and you also do not have a knack for getting things straight, make them intentionally crooked. See how quickly this card comes together, especially when your glue works? Oops. My fingers still have a little bit of glue on them from the other projects. And this last little piece. And this one I try to get straight. And it comes right off with my sticky fingers. Okay, so there we go with that. Now I've got some baker's twine here. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take my bow jig. This again is not a Stampin' Up! Item. I just bought this online. You can find things like this on Amazon and all over the place. So you shouldn't have any problem finding one if you want one. Some people are really good at tying bows just on their own. I am not. I like my bow jig. I can tie regular bows by myself pretty well, but when it comes to like fancy ones like this, I need my bow jig. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I want to kind of curl this a little bit, just to give it a little something, a little shape. And baker's twine holds its shape pretty well, actually. So when you do something like this, I know it looks kind of wonky, but the nice thing is that it's not just a weird flat tail. And I'm going to end up trimming a lot of this off, actually. But this just gives it a little bit of shape. Okay, so what I did is I made a triple bow. That means it's got 3 loops on each side, but it just has the 1 set of tail. Oh, it's a quadruple bow, I guess. All right, didn't mean to do that. There we go. And now I'm going to take a glue dot. Put it right behind the knot of the bow. And I'm going to put it right on that top piece right there. Fan out my loops again. And then I am going to I'm going to trim these tails a little bit. It's a little longer than what I want. There we go. And now let's go ahead and put that on the front of our card. And for that, I'm going to use a foam adhesive sheet. This is a half of a sheet, and I'm just going to cut it in thirds. It's easier to cut the big pieces like this with big scissors. The reason I cut this in thirds is because if I had just taken that one piece, you can see it doesn't really fill up much of my piece of paper like that, but I can spread it out. The card still won't sag, but I don't have to use quite as much of the adhesive sheet. Push these down nice, pull off the release tape. There we go. Now get this lined up nicely. There we go. And there's card number 3 on the inside. So I hope that, thank you, Mary. I hope you guys enjoyed what we did tonight. If you did, I would love some thumbs up or some hearts. Those are the kind of things that let all the algorithms know that this was a good video and that you enjoyed it, and other people might enjoy it as well. So it pushes it out there to more people. Oh, you know what? We forgot to put those dots that we so lovingly colored. We forgot to put them on our card. Let's do that real quick. But anyway, yeah, the likes and the hearts and the thumbs ups and all those kind of things, those are what let the algorithm know, what the algorithms know to push out the video so more people can see it. So I really appreciate those. Another thing that helps me a lot is if you share the video on your own page. Again, I've said this before, but you just never know who in your feed might enjoy seeing it and hasn't heard of me before. And so that also helps get my name out there. It really helps my business. So I appreciate it when you do that. There we go. We've got our little dots on there. Isn't that adorable? And you saw how easy that was to make. So let's put some stuff away. Let's take a peek at all the cards we made tonight. Oh, good. Judy says she loves them all tonight. I'm so glad. Okay. Move some stuff out of the way here so we can see what we've got going on. So we have our Christmas tree that we made out of designer series paper. And then we have our white card with our die cut image that we put back and then let it stick up a little bit to give it a little bit of dimension on the card. And then we have the one where we used our embossing paste. The envelope is sitting off to the side to dry. And created this lovely little work of art. So I do hope you enjoyed these cards tonight. I had a lot of fun making them. Oh, you're so welcome, John. I love that you guys join me and help me to have a little bit of a social life that I can share with you. Thank you for sharing the video, Marsha. I appreciate that. If you are wanting to take advantage of that amazing sale that Stampin' Up! Has going on right now, I would love to earn your business. And you can order your items on my online store at heathersides.stampinup.net. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'm open to both. You can contact me at stamphappenings@gmail.com, or you can send me a message here on Facebook. If you do place an order on my website, if you could use this host code, I would really appreciate it. That's what allows me to continue to bring these videos for free and the prizes and that kind of thing. If your order's over $150, no judgment. If your order is over $150, don't use the host code, because you will have some rewards coming to you from Stampin' Up! And I want to make sure that you are the one who gets those rewards. So if your order is under $150, please use the host code. If it's over $150, please don't use it. I hope you guys had a great night tonight. I hope you've been having a great week. Hope you have a great week coming up. And I will see you next Wednesday, which is apparently the day before Thanksgiving. Who knew? But I will still be here next Wednesday night with some cards for you. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.